We're here with Duimpie Bayly, who's a very well-known character in the South African wine industry. And Duimpie, we're honouring Zonnebloem, and I think you've had quite an integral part of Zonnebloem's history of South Africa. If you can just tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I started with Stellenbosch Farmers Winery in 1962 after I'd finished at Stellenbosch University, and I was started in a lab at Stellenbosch, and I had the privilege of having when the big guns like Bill Winshaw and Ronnie Melk used to come and taste the wines. I had to be the scribe and take down their comments and things like that. And when they were finished with the wines, giving their comments, we had the opportunity to taste the wines after him, and that's how we learned, because they would say this wine is oxidized, this wine is lovely fruity, this one's got a nice structure, this one is this one's all the different terms and that sort of thing. And it wasn't done at a wine show, it was done on all the samples that were on the table there, where they used to choose the wines. And then when it came to Zonnebloem, obviously, which was a flagship of Farmers Winery, and it started in 1945. It was originally made on the farm Zonnebloem down there next to the Berg River. The farm, I think, is still called Zonnebloem, still there. And eventually, first Farmers Winery used to bottle the wines from there, but eventually Farmers Winery bought the trademark, and then they started bottling wines under the Zonnebloem label, but not all of them came from the farm at that stage. When I was there, not all of it came from Zonnebloem farm. And as it was a flagship too, obviously they used to get samples from all over, from the cellar, to make the best sort of Cabernet Sauvignon that we could make at that particular stage. And as you will appreciate, in those days, Cabernet Sauvignon wasn't very, there weren't a lot of it, wasn't widely planted. And the vines also used to not bear all that much because they were virus-ridden and things like that. But even though they were virus-ridden, they possibly didn't give the yields that the growers would like. It certainly did give the grapes a lot of character, small berries, and a lot of flavor and things like that, because of having such a low yield, such a small crop every vine, and mostly bush vines too. So the flavor and that was concentrated. So Zonnebloem, that's how they used to take the best red wines in the cellar to put the Zonnebloem blend together, and that's how I sort of learned all about Zonnebloem and the making of Zonnebloem. And then as I progressed up the tree, I sort of became more involved in the blending of the wines and the selection of the wines and things like that, and also to a certain extent involved a bit with marketing to try and market Zonnebloem, involved with giving various tastings all over the country, whatever the case may be, and to promote Zonnebloem. And so I've always been a great fan of Zonnebloem. Even to this day, I still get my supply of Zonnebloem. I wouldn't say supply, but I get Zonnebloem, and my favorite at this particular stage is a Zonnebloem Laureate, which is it's a so-called sort of Bordeaux blend, which I find really easy, good drinking, and it's something that I believe can age very well. And but also the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Chardonnay, and of course, obviously, I'm a Pinotage fan. There's no ways I can hide from that, but there we were more involved with the Landsrac Pinotage at the time when I started. Eventually we had Eau de Libertas Pinotage, and we also had a Zonnebloem Pinotage. So I've been very much involved with all of those, and then obviously also with the whites. And the old days, we didn't have, we had a Zonnebloem Riesling, and we didn't have Sauvignon Blanc in the old days. Now they have all of those. I mean, they have a full range of all the premium cultivars in Zonnebloem.
I'm proud to be part of the Zonnebloem team. Hi everyone, my name is Elise Coetzee. Welcome at Adam Tassalis, the house of Zonnebloem Wines. Just before the turn of the century, the Zonnebloem farm, the original farm that was situated in Samondium, was bought by the Furter family. They were the first family to make wine under the Zonnebloem brand. And actually, that was one of the first lady winemakers, Mary Furter, and she took Zonnebloem to very high heights, winning lots of competitions. in the mid-1900s. Since the 1950s, Zonnebloem won quite a lot of international awards and trophies and was well known all over the world and was a household brand in South Africa. The current team at Zonnebloem is myself looking after the white wines, Bonnie van Niekerk looking after the red wines, and Annelie Viljoen looking after the vineyards, with Dion Boshoff as our cellar manager. I just want to say to all the father figures out there in the wine industry, we salute you.